When people ask me my thoughts on hybrid or electric cars, my response is usually, no thanks, I prefer my cars to destroy the planet. Yes, I'm one of those guys, but I'm also a realist who understands that at some point, all new cars will either be a hybrid or completely electric. Usually, when I hear hybrid, I imagine a stubby little car with entry-level rental car interior. This is not the case with the Karma Revero. I looked up the word automotive presence in the dictionary and I saw a picture of the Mercedes G-Wagon 4x4 squared, and then right underneath it, a picture of the Karma Revero. If I was gonna personify this car, it's synonymous to a really attractive but really tall woman walking into a waiting room of a doctor's office. Of course, tall, attractive women go to the doctor, but you just weren't expecting to see something that striking walking into the doctor's office that day. That's kind of the presence it has. It's almost alien-like. The curves on this car are infinite, and everything about the exterior design is sensual, and nothing about it screams, I'm a boring hybrid that has no ambitions beyond the self-attributed benevolence of being slightly better for the environment. This car is long. Every time I looked at it, I kept thinking, look at the legs on that thing. If not for its length, you'd mistakenly think the Revero was a coupe. But it's a four-door with the visual appeal of a coupe. And unlike the Aston Martin Rapide, which it pulls cues from, the back seats are actually usable. The inside of the Revero is a very calming place to be. Now, I wouldn't spec this particular interior colorway, but while driving it, I never felt like I was in a rush, even though I was technically in a rush. It seemingly removed all of the tension from my body. Everything felt earthy, and I mean that in a good way. The interior is not sparse, but minimal, and all the materials had a softness about it that again, just made you sort of relax a bit. Even the colors used in the dash and the infotainment system are on the soothing pastel side of the color spectrum. Speaking of infotainment, if I had one criticism, the Generation X/millennial part of my personality wished the screen was a bit bigger, for no other reason than that's what I've come to expect from anything electric. Blame Elon Musk. However, other than a slight learning curve, the infotainment system was a joy to use. I'm never going to be against an all-digital gauge cluster, especially considering the only analog gauge cluster I truly like are from old Aston Martins. Between the digital gauge cluster and the infotainment screen, this car is information overload. Any type of information that you may want front and center can be programmed to be front and center. Some time ago, I entertained getting a BMW i8. It took all of 10 seconds of driving to realize I wanted nothing to do with the i8 because it sold me a wolf ticket. From the outside, the i8 looked like a screamer of a car, like it was ready to take flight into the stratosphere. Except when you get into it with those skinny tires and underpowered engine, it was anything but exhilarating. I bring up the i8 because the Karma Revero, being a hybrid, has a 28 kilowatt battery pack rated for 61 miles in electric mode and another 280 miles from the BMW engine generator inherited from the i8. Only difference is the Karma Revero has 536 horsepower when the BMW i8 has 369. Yes, this car is big, and no, I'm not about to tell you how the car feels so much smaller when you're driving it, because it doesn't. It's big and it feels big. Yet, it still feels incredibly capable. Think Cadillac from the And1 mixtapes. He was huge, but he was still able to be explosive and fluid in spite of his size. It was incredible to watch. That's the Karma Revero, except a lot sexier. If you want speed, it can do speed. If you want handling, it can do handling. But what I love most of all was the throttle response. It wasn't almost instant. It was instant, and I loved it. Even naturally aspirated engines have a slight delay to their throttle response, but the Revero GT's throttle response is literally instant. The Regen Breaking took some getting used to. The Revero has 3 settings for Regen Breaking. I initially just turned it off, but once I gave it a solid try, it started growing on me. I'm still not sold on the hybrid electric car thing. I know I don't have much of a choice because that's where cars are going. I really like how the Revero GT is still infusing passion into what would otherwise be passionless driving experience. Passion isn't always tire shredding, screaming banshee. It can also be elegance and grace, which I feel the Karma Revero GT has in spades. I'll likely do a hybrid before I ever do a fully electric car. I like the ability to have both gas and electric, especially with a car like the Revero GT, which, shocker, makes for a great GT road trip car. Right now, there's a culture war against the Second Amendment, which is why I need your help spreading our message to counter their message. You can do this by leaving a comment, sharing this video, and click the bell and subscribe button. Let my voice be your voice, and let them know you want to keep America tactical, because the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed wasn't a suggestion, it was a directive. Also, if you're wondering where to purchase your state-specific Keep America Tactical shirt, click the link under the Keep America Tactical in the description section of this video.